Hello and welcome to a new video. My name is Larissa and today I'm going to react to another Patreon request. Today I'm going to react to another Raleigh Link video. I reacted to one video of her before. I think the way she kind of presented the whole video was just very fun and enjoyable. So when another video was requested, I was instantly like, okay, fun. Before I continue this video, I want to tell you that if you want to request your own video, that is possible. It's possible through my Patreon and the link to that is in the description. There you can find different tiers. Beside requesting your own video, you can also get early access to my other videos. You can see my full reactions and there's different tiers for like video requests. There's cheaper tiers for just smaller videos and there's more expensive tiers for like full-on TV show episodes or movies. Check it out if you're interested, the link is in the description. The video I'll be reacting to today is called Another Long Distance Rider is Attempting to Ride 7,000 Miles. And from what I'm guessing, I think Raleigh has a strong opinion about that. And I feel like that is a very long distance. And because of that, I think that's not a very healthy thing for the horse. And I think that's gonna be like her opinion too. And because she says another long distance rider, I guess it has been done before. And I'm also guessing that it is kind of proven that it is not healthy for a horse. That's just what I'm guessing from like the title and the thumbnail and without knowing anything else. The video is 25 minutes, so I'm curious what she has to say about it, so let's watch it.
I don't think that you should go on a journey like this until you've actually trained your horses adequately to be able to fully trust them.
Okay, so from that small sentence, I already think what I said is kinda, yeah, what it's gonna be about.
Hey bitch, and welcome back to another video of me talking about people I hate, except maybe not this time.
It's still very funny to me that her channel is called Hey Bitch.
Long distance rider. You know, I don't really understand the trend, and I wish that people would honestly stop doing this. I just think that there's better things to do with your time, but hey, that's just my opinion. You know, I'm not the type of person who would want to put my horses through a long distance journey like this.
Over 7,000-mile journey across the United States that I'm taking with my 3 horses. And
why 3?
To travel across 30 states in the period of 1 year. Man, we are feeling the breeze. All 3 of my horses are Mustangs. They were all born in the desert. Bella here, and then Denver and Eddie. There's over 50,000 Mustangs in government holding that don't have homes, and they can't live on the wild because the resources aren't there. And through this, my 3 horses are going to show the world that Mustangs absolutely are worth adopting, that they absolutely have a place.
So today we are reacting to a new long distance rider who is starting his long distance horseback riding journey almost half a year after Too Raw to Ride finished, I want to say, but his was abysmal, okay? I don't even consider Cyril Bertho, aka Too Raw to Ride, to be a legitimate equestrian. I'm pretty sure he literally abandoned his horses in Montana. Hopefully this is significantly better than Too Raw to Ride. A lot of you guys have been sending me his profile. Again, we don't want to shit on good behavior. So even though I disagree with long distance horseback riding and using horses as a means of transportation, I still don't want to shit on people who are doing that, but doing it responsibly.
It did look like he kind of did have his priorities straight, as in
do something that I disagree with irresponsibly and actively hurt animals. And I just want to make a quick side note. I do think that long distance riding can be done without harming your animal, as long as you're very diligent and you make sure that your animals have the right care, the right amount of rest, and the right nutrition.
I'm gonna pause it real quickly here because what she's saying, like, yeah, this guy, he, from the video that we saw, it looked to me like, okay, I don't know if I should agree with what he's doing. I honestly don't know that much about it, so it's not really my place as well. But from what Raleigh is saying, like, that it's just not very nice for your horse and all, and that she also doesn't agree with, like, using your horse to, like, transport stuff and all. But from the video itself, it looked like the guy did kind of have his priorities straight, as in he had a reason why he did it and all that kind of stuff, you still don't need to agree with it because of that. But I get what she's saying. Like, apparently there were other people who did this before, and they weren't that like good with their horses. So maybe they just tried to prove something. But from the clip she just showed from the guy, I was like, doesn't look too bad. But okay, let's continue watching.
I saw a few of this guy's posts on TikTok because a lot of people were sending me his videos on TikTok, and he seems to be someone that does have a good amount of horse experience, which I think is already off to a really good start. It's definitely infinitely better than Cyril Berthaud, who had 0 horse experience at all.
Why would you do that with 0 horse experience?
Buy a random horse off Craigslist and ride it across the country with no training. So I want to talk about the positives that I've seen so far before I get into this video. Jake seems to have a good amount of horse knowledge. He also seems to be a pretty good farrier, which is very convenient given that he's going to need to be trimming his horse's feet regularly if he is traversing across this much terrain. Moreover, I think it's fantastic that he actually has 3 horses that he's using for this journey instead of just 1. And all 3 of his horses are in relatively great shape. None of them seem lame from any of his TikTok videos that I've seen. All of his horses are actual Mustangs from what he has said in his videos, which is another point that I want to touch on that I actually think is really good. Wild Mustangs are known to frequently travel 30 to 40 miles a day in the wild.
Okay.
So when you have a horse that's already conditioned to that type of environment, it's going to make your journey a lot easier. And he has made a few videos about Mustangs, trying to encourage people to adopt Mustangs, which I also think is really good. I mean, I think wild Mustangs are perfectly fine and perfectly capable horses. They just require a little bit extra work.
So then at least you already know, okay, this guy means well.
I think it's great that he is using horses that are already used to these conditions.
Yeah.
Because when you take a horse that's not used to this and is just used to living in their little paddock or pasture and getting food twice a day, then you take them and you try to do cross country, it's going to be a total nightmare. So if this guy's trying to be a good representative for long distance riders, this is what we want to encourage, is someone who's doing this responsibly. I know that the 7,000 mile journey sounds like a lot, but I will say he is doing this over a period of a year.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say too. Like, then it's not that much a day, right?
Miles within like a 200 to 300 day time frame, and that's including breaks and sleeping and getting food and water and whatnot. So him wanting to complete this whole journey in 365 days actually gives him a couple of extra months of rest during that whole time for his horses, which I think is pretty responsible. But yeah, let's watch. Let's see if I agree, if I disagree, and I'm probably going to be following this guy's journey because, like I said, if he ends up being a terrible piece of shit, he deserves to be called out, but I don't think he's going to end up being...
It looks really adventurous though.
We are getting ready to go. I'm headed at
I feel like it really is like some sort of goal if you really like to live in the wild and are a really big horse lover who is responsible with horses, of course.
Build the horses up, help them build some energy and some muscle regeneration as we go along here at the beginning. So, all right, guys, day 1. Made it out of Sage Creek and out of Charleston, and now we're leaving Daniels. So we'll just say we're leaving Heber City. So far, so good.
It's funny how this is a reaction and a reaction and a reaction now.
About 2 miles down and 7,000 something to go. Right now we're traveling through the Walsburg Wildlife Management Area. So far we're doing pretty good. We've had a few slowdowns, but we're making it. Well,
it looks so nice.
I lived in the Heber Valley almost my entire life.
Like, I'm not that adventurous, but that seems cool.
Hard to leave, but the time has come.
I mean, you're gonna go back, bro. Okay, it's not that sad. But anyway, I just don't understand the appeal. I get it that everybody is interested in different things. Again, I just don't really understand the appeal behind this. But he definitely at least knows how to ride. He seems to have properly fitted tack, which I think is really good.
I'm also thinking like, okay, this looks really adventurous and nice, but you could also just like take your horses for a ride for a day or something, you know?
A lot uphill. Had to stop to fix a lot of things. A lot of gates to undo, cattle guards, that sort of thing. Someone naming Eddie broke a couple of breakaways. It's beautiful country. Can't ask for anything better than being up in the Quakies. All right, guys, first camp, first dinner. Horses are hobbled down there. Wish I could have shown you guys more, but we got in real late, it being the first day, still trying to work out the kinks. So as far as my thoughts on day one go, I guess in a way it kind of feels like any other pack trip, but not, because there is no plan of going back the way I came or ever getting picked up. So I guess it's different in the sense that this is just my life now. Yeah, definitely ready for some sleep. But
I really wonder what her opinion is on this. Of course, she's way more experienced with this kind of stuff than I am, so...
We'll get it. One down and at least 365 more to go.
I don't get it. You know, and I like camping. I grew up camping. I grew up in the Colorado Rockies. I've taken my horse camping. I've been on camping trips and backpacking trips. And I don't understand the appeal behind this. I know how awful it is to be out camping for days, and that includes having tons of gear. It's still pretty miserable for me, and I think for a lot of other people. There's only so long that I want to camp for before I miss the comforts of my house and taking showers and being a clean person and having warm food and not having to carry all my shit on a horse pack. I mean, to each his own, but this just seems kind of miserable. He seems to...
I get exactly what she's saying. As in, when I looked at his videos, I was like, okay, she says she doesn't get the appeal. I kind of get the appeal. And I think it's also a bit about going beyond your own limits, seeing what you're capable of. I get that, but I also really get what she's saying, as in, I am not even a camper at all. But she's saying like, I'm a camper, I like camping, but I can't do it for an entire year. And like after a short while, you just want to, get back to the comfort of your house, your bed, a shower. And maybe in that way, we're also a little spoiled, but I get exactly what she's saying. Like the last time I went camping was, I think, 3 years ago. And we camped for 2 nights and I thought it was awful. I'm just not a camper at all. And then I was like, I'm never gonna do this again. But if you have that camping spirit, then I can understand that this is appealing to you. Just not for 365 days. Like at first when he was just walking with the horses and the other 2 horses were just following him and the area looked really beautiful, I was like, oh, this actually looks kind of cool. If you can do that for a year, pretty cool. But then the moment it's dark and he's sitting there in the woods alone with the horses and a little campfire and he's like, 1 day down, 364 to go. And I'm like, dude, why? I just don't get why. I have to say, I kind of get both sides. Because I do understand that there's an appeal. I do understand that for certain people, that is maybe like a really cool thing to do. Like a really big dream to do that for a year. For other people, that would be like awful. I think for me, it's interesting to watch this guy do that, but I would never do it myself. Even if I was a really good horse rider or whatever, never, no. And I'm also thinking like, okay, I get the appeal because beautiful landscapes, adventurous time with your horses, but you can also just do it for a week, right? You don't need to do it for a year. But as I said before, we're all different, and I do understand that there is a certain appeal. I have to say that.
Slightly dreading the following days, like maybe he's regretting his decision. Something that I want to...
I feel like there is gonna be a point where he regrets his decision.
Those faults, you can turn back. at any point, actually. And this was something that was really funny about Cyril Berthaud, is he literally was so committed he was going to kill his horses along the way. And I think it's important for backcountry people like this that want to ride across the country to know that it's okay if you want to quit. You don't have to do this just because you said that you would. It's okay if you get to a certain point in your journey where you feel like it's too much for you or too much
also
for your
very
horses.
fair,
And
yeah.
there's really no shame in that.
Yeah.
So I don't want this guy, if he ends up getting to a point where he thinks this journey is too much and he doesn't want to do it, to think that he can't quit because he's already publicly committed to doing the whole thing. It's fine if you want to. Let's talk about my first negative here. I don't like hobbling horses. I think that it's lazy. I know a lot of people like hobbling their horses. They think that it teaches patience and teaches them to stand and get used to stuff on their legs. You don't need hobbles for that. You don't need hobbles to teach your horses how to stand. You don't need hobbles to teach your horses patience. You don't need hobbles to teach your horses how to accept stuff on their legs. You don't need hobbles to teach your horses how to stay by you. Every single time I've gone camping, I've never had to hobble my horse. I've never...
Why did the horse kind of came in like a jump scare? I was just so focused on her talking and the horse was just like...
It's the same thing as training your dog to have good recall. You can train your horse to have good recall as well. And I think that if you're gonna go off on a journey like this, it's important that you take proper steps. And for me, in my opinion, I think that teaching your horses to have good recall should have been one of the first things that he taught his horses. If you're gonna be traveling the country, you're going to have issues where your horses might get loose or they might get out of their tack or something. So you should already have your horses trained for proper recall just for those sort of safety precautions.
Okay guys, this is day 2 and haven't been able to film much today because we got a pretty late start.
How does he even charge his batteries?
But we're on the road now, heading southeast. Gonna have a little shorter day by default just because we got out so late. But yeah, real pretty country at least. Just taking a little breather at the top. These guys are still getting used to doing this much uphill all day long. Well, we are getting to the end of day 4. Spent most of the day just trying to get organized again. In the morning through the afternoon, we're here just gonna go a couple miles in the evening to move along. But yeah, I broke a pack saddle yesterday evening. So I had to fix that and
already on the first day.
a couple other stuff organized. And I was just exhausted, so this is a warm-up period for me too, I guess. But horses are doing good right now, lots of energy. And Bella here's really pumping it out at the end of the day. It's going strong. Well, another eventful morning. Everything was good all night. All 3 of these guys were picketed, no problem. Good grass for them to eat here by the water. And I started making breakfast for myself. I was in the middle of cooking some bacon. And something spooked Denver here. And he tore backwards, ripped his steak out of the ground. And Eddie did the same thing, and they took off for the hills. Luckily, I caught Bella and threw a saddle on her and made a mad dash after him. But yeah, it was a pain in the neck.
Okay, so that literally just proved my point. This is why you teach good recall to your horses. 99% of the time, you're gonna have an incident where your horse breaks free somehow and goes running off. So you might as well train them to have good recall, because if you don't do that and you're just relying on a piece of equipment, guess what? Equipment fails. The horses seem to have plenty of food readily available and water. He's shown multiple videos per day of the horses eating and getting water. So hopefully the landscape of his journey doesn't change too drastically. And hopefully he's also prepared for other wildlife, but I would assume he probably has, and these horses are Mustangs. So again, like I said, they're probably used to other predators. But that's another reason why you don't want to hobble your horses, because if you're out in the middle of nowhere and a predator comes in the middle of the night, you're going to want your horses to have a good chance of surviving that.
Okay, we are now on the downhill, and we're gonna go find a place to camp on the Price River. We had about a 2,000 foot elevation gain today. We're gonna have an even bigger drop here right now at about 9,100 feet. Just enjoying the cooler weather now. Well, this keeps happening where something ends up happening in the morning and then I have to ride into the dusk. So we're here again at 7:15 p.m. and we're rolling here into camp. Just one more mile to go. These two decided to go for a little runoff in the morning, but glad they're safe. Ended up doing about 18 miles today.
So I think he said that he had 2 incidences so far where his horses ran off and he didn't catch them. Yeah, again, it's going to happen. I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but this is why you don't rely on hobbles. Hobbles don't teach horses to stay by you.
Okay.
I don't like that. I will say I don't like the fact that he has bells on his horses. I think that just presents a target for predators, and I think that it's dangerous to put a very loud device on your horse, especially when they're hobbled and they can't move or go anywhere or defend themselves really. To me, I just think that it kind of shows a little bit of a lack of trust that he has with his horses. He doesn't think he's going to be able to find his horses easily, or he doesn't think he's going to be able to recall his horses, which is why he's taking those measures. I don't think that you should go on a journey like this until you've actually trained your horses adequately to be able to fully trust them.
Yeah, I agree with her on that.
This is what we've been sleeping in all night, and this is what we're riding out with right now.
Looks fun. The horses are so cute though.
This canyon going down the highway towards Helper. Every single canyon that I thought I would be able to have access to get up and over these mountains is fenced and posted no trespassing, so we just keep on rolling down the highway, and we got one more possibility, but if not, we're just going to be rolling all the way down into Helper. So,
bro, did you bring chapstick? Do you know what chapstick is?
I literally was just thinking that.
I would have literally brought a massive tub of Aquaphor. Aquaphor is so useful. You can use it on your horses, cuts, scrapes, whatever. You can use it on your horse's dried or cracked skin.
If your lips look like that after 3 days, Jesus.
That would have benefited you greatly.
it's still only the second week for these guys, and I'm working on getting them in shape, and I was riding Bella, so since she carried me all the way from down there, and
looks scary to ride there.
I'm giving her a walk break. Pretty cool spot today. We're here in Helper, Utah. Well, guys, Helper, Utah is...
Oh my god, it looks even worse.
First time back in town in a few weeks, at least since I left Heber. Other than that, we've been either in the mountains or on the highway, so it's kind of funny to ride through town again, but we'll have lots more of that. Pretty nice and easy day without carrying any weight, huh, guys? Alright, guys, well, it is now Sunday at the end of week 2 of the Year of the Mustang project.
Oh,
and
week 2.
the horses are doing really good. They're here in this pasture.
They're vibing.
Day, eating some nice grass, and I'm getting a nice good off day as well, which is thanks to Meryl and Carol Carlson, who invited me to stay on their property for 2 nights, which has been a welcome break and a huge help in so many ways. So shout out to...
But like, this is only the 2nd week. You're gonna need more breaks like this. Like, now you're really lucky, but...
We got through it. The last couple of days, things have been looking up. The horses are starting to figure their job out. They're working really hard, looking really good. Yeah, I'm starting to feel more like myself again too, I guess. Of course, I know there's going to be plenty more hard things to come, but hopefully just going to get a little easier as we go along and work more things out. This is definitely the longest amount of time I have spent with a single set of horses now, and they're definitely turning more into my family, even more than they were before.
I do get that, though. I think you would get a really close bond with those horses.
And real with you guys, that's kind of the goal for the month of October. I want to think a lot about just being honest as a person and honest in life with everybody, and being serious about what's got to happen, what's got to change.
I would never do this. This guy seems like he's exhausted and over it after just the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't blame him, okay? I mean, if my lips looked like that after 14 days, I'd probably never do that shit ever again. I will say a lot of the stuff he's doing seems good. Hopefully my video just had some pointers available for him. Maybe throughout his journey, he could easily teach his horses good recall. That's something that'll only take you a couple weeks to teach them. So I'm sure you could easily do it on your journey, and then you no longer have to worry about hobbles. Plus your horses will be able to graze a lot more and get a lot more nutrition in a shorter period of time. But it seems like he is still going, and his horses seem to be healthy and making it, and he's given them plenty of rest days. I wish this guy the best. I hope that he treats his horses well, and I hope that he's able to make it without causing his horses any serious damage or problems. No hate to this guy. He seems like a really nice guy. Hopefully, like I said, these horses and his journey turn out completely fine. So I'm wishing him the best of luck, and I'm trying to be positive because you want to promote people who are trying to do good in the horse world. And if he's trying to be a good representative of riding horses across the country, then I think it's okay to just let him be that. That's pretty much it for now, guys. I
agree with her, yeah.
This story. I just wanted to talk about it because so many of you wanted me to. I love you. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Okay. Interesting video. I didn't really know that was a thing even. So yeah, the whole concept is kind of new to me, of people just riding a horse for a year and having like some kind of big camping trip adventure. I'm not surprised that people are doing it though, because like I said before, I do kind of get the appeal. I get the appeal of wanting to do it, then maybe doing it for a week and being like, a week is also fine. That's just kind of the whole thing to me. Like, it seems a fun idea, but I feel like when you're actually in that situation, it's not that fun anymore. Like, it's a really nice thing to challenge yourself, but it's so hard. It's kind of what she said. After 2 weeks, this guy already looked exhausted, like he had been there for a year already. I think the horses, they still looked pretty good. And just like Raleigh said, it seems like he's treating the horses well. It doesn't seem like he's doing any bad things to them or not treating them well, you know? And like I said in the beginning, it seems like he has his priorities straight, as in he wants to do good for the horse world. And he has a lot of experience, you can see that. I do really agree with her on the callback thing. Like, yeah, isn't that kind of an obvious thing? Like, your horses are gonna run away at one point, not because they hate you or whatever, but because they're, in the end, horses. They're animals. They're not always gonna listen. And that's the same thing with a dog. If a dog escapes, then it is really nice that if you, for example, you whistle or whatever, they come back. And if you're gonna go on an adventure like this, I think it is kind of a necessary thing for your horses to know when to come back. So yeah, that's like one of the things where I was like, okay, that's a little weird that he didn't really thought of that. And then the bell thing around the neck. It was something I didn't really think about, but I completely agree with her. Like, especially if the horse is like strapped to a tree or whatever, can't go anywhere. If there's a predator, the horse can't do anything. It's a good thing, I guess, that he's there, but at the same time, like, if there's gonna be a wild animal, what is he gonna do? So yeah, that was also like a small thing, but from all the things she said, I feel like they were all like small things. Small things he maybe has to work on, but not like really dramatic things where I'm like, this guy really shouldn't go on this journey, this is so bad and he's a bad person for doing this, because I think he knew what he was doing. She said he was still going. I don't know when this video came out, 2 months ago. Okay, is this guy still going? That's what I'm wondering about. I don't know when he started, but let me look him up real quick. I think he's still going. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, honestly, the same thing Raleigh was saying. I wish him all the best and I hope he's gonna finish it. But like she said as well, if you don't finish it, it's not a crime. You can just stop whenever you want. But I also understand, I'm like that too. If I want to do something, I finish it, because I don't like giving up, even though sometimes it's okay to give up. But I don't know. I'm also, yeah, like that. If I want to do something, I do it. And if things get rough, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get through this, and then I'm just gonna continue doing it. I can't like name a good example right now, but I do understand, especially if you're sharing it on social media, that you're like, okay, but I do want to finish it. Unless like the health of your horses really go backwards, or your own health, I think what he's doing is okay. I would never do it myself. I really like this video though, because it was really interesting to me. I have to say, up to now, all the videos from Raleigh I watched, they were super interesting, and she really knows what she's talking about. I really like that too. Sometimes she's watching the video and I'm watching her watching the video, which still feels kind of weird, but yeah. And then I'm just like looking at the video she's looking at, and I'm thinking like, what's Raleigh gonna say about this? Because I first want to hear what she's saying about it, because she has like a lot of horse experience. Mostly I agree with her if she's right, which I think she is. The only thing I didn't really agree with her on was that she said there's totally no appeal about this all. But I think there is. I think it is. Like, maybe it's a bit romanticized. Like, oh, you're riding on a horseback for a year through America. That sounds really cool and adventurous. I think once you're in the situation, it's not that nice anymore, but still very adventurous. I get the appeal, would never do it myself. And yeah, this guy's still doing it, so I wish him the best too. And then I think that was my reaction to this. If people have more information about this or want to say something about it, let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe. And if you want to request your own video for me to react to, it can be anything. It's like, I'm reacting to horse videos now. I never thought I would do that, but I'm watching them and they're interesting. So if you have like a special interest and you're like, oh, I really want to know what Larissa thinks of that, check out my Patreon, links in the description. And then I really hope to see you at my next video. Bye!